Blackrock partnering with Coinbase. Is this big news or is it a nothing burger? Well, let's dive deep into what is said, but even more importantly, what is not being said, because that is actually the far more important information. Also, another hugely bullish piece of news came out the last few days. I go to the Bahamas for like 6 days and gosh, like the whole world changes and some crazy news come out. So I guess I'm going to go to the Bahamas more often because that seems to be when really good things happen. Welcome to the Crypto Rain channel. I'm your host, Jay Rain. And if you like money in crypto and you're looking for a real investor's take on the crypto market, join the Rainmaker family. You can do that simply as liking this video and subscribing with the all notifications button enabled. Do note, I'm not a financial advisor. I am a crypto investor myself, and I share with you how I think about the crypto market and specific cryptos I like. And do note that I do own or plan to own most of what I talk about on this channel. Special shout out to our Patreon members. We just finished the pre-live stream that our Patreon members get access to through our private Discord and have a lot of fun with that interaction. We have some much deeper conversations that we can't really do on YouTube, and it's very much a two-way communication street when that happens. Although we are live today, so I get to interact and see your comments, so we do have that going on. Now, often it says this is sponsored content on this. That's because of our strategic relationship with OneChain, which does have some big news that we'll talk about later. And we will have a giveaway that we're doing today. So stay tuned because we will be giving away some OneChain. Now make it rain on that like button and strap in for the show. I'm sure you saw the news. BlackRock partners with Coinbase to give BlackRock's institutional investors access to Bitcoin and then other cryptocurrencies. Now that's what is being announced. Let me ask you though, what's the story behind the story? That's what we want to talk about today. Let's take a look at where Bitcoin and crypto is, and then I want to talk much deeper on that. So this is Bitcoin, and we're in this little, well, interesting pattern here. So we were descending hugely, and we broke out of that pattern, came up, broke above it, been following this trend line. So we broke out of that previous pattern and we're going up. Now, is this just a bear flag and going to head farther south? It could be. Maybe. I'd say there's a chance. I just say it's not even probable. Now, we covered earlier about a week ago, the pi cycle indicator says that the bottom is in. Now, the pi cycle indicator isn't like magic crystal ball that says for certain it's in. The last two times it was right that actually did call the bottom, but that doesn't mean we can't have a lower low. It just means that we're at or near the bottom is really all that means. We don't have a lot of history because we've only had 2 times that it's flashed, and the 2 times that it flashed, it was right. So is the bottom in? Well, that's what we're all asking, right? Could it go further? Yeah, it could go down to 15,000. Could go to these numbers. Could come back down to where it was here. Could go further down to like 15.8 or 9, right around this support level, and then bounce up. It could come all the way down to this 12.39. Is it likely? It's actually not likely. There's some bigger things going on. And this news, I saw it's got a lot of coverage. Of course, the big news comes out when I'm in the Bahamas. I had no internet signal for most of the whole trip, which was nice and not nice at the same time, because this news with BlackRock is really, really a big deal. So let's get into this news. Before we do, as we dissect this a little bit, remember, we're not just regular crypto people here following emotional investing like so many newbies do, or the masses do. We're investors here. We're venture capitalists. We're here not to follow the crowd, but to understand the shifts and take in a lot of information so we can try to see around corners. See, leaders gather as much information as they can so they can, in essence, see around corners. So let's glean some extra information about this monumental announcement. What's going on, Nick? Good to see you. Halftime USAA. The trip was amazing, and I took the missus. She absolutely loved it. I did share some pictures on Discord back when I had internet access. And yeah, everyone's saying my wife is much prettier than me. They are right on that. Francisco Garcia, welcome back, buddy. Thank you, Francisco. So interestingly enough, let's take a look at this article. And this first is Bloomberg. And Bloomberg says BlackRock Inc. is partnering with Coinbase Global Inc. to make it easier for institutional investors to manage and trade Bitcoin, taking the world's largest asset manager into a cryptocurrency market hammered by plunging prices and government investigations. Oh my gosh, there's investigations into this crypto thing. So it's funny how this reporter throws some negative slants in there, right? Turning actually what is really huge news into, has to throw some jabs and elbows into it, the way they wrote this article. Coinbase surged 15%. The partnership with BlackRock provides some relief for the biggest U.S. crypto trading platform. Oh, it's just some relief because it's been mired by government investigations, whose stock had lost more than 2/3 of its value throughout Wednesday. Notice it's just dripping with negative stuff. This is absolutely the slant that this reporter wants to put behind it, right? It wants this to actually kind of be a negative story. Top BlackRock clients will be able to use its Aladdin investment management system to oversee their exposure to Bitcoin, along with other portfolio assets such as stocks and bonds, to facilitate finance. This writer is even a little bit boring. This is hard to read. BlackRock moves deepens the involvement in Wall Street. I'm going to go to another article because, gosh, this writer is just, come on, Bloomberg, you're big enough. Get some good writers in there. All right. Investing.com has this article. This is much better. Crypto Flipsider News. Coinbase BlackRock deal. And Instagram expands NFT feature, which we're going to talk about both these things today. But let's start off with this. Coinbase partners with BlackRock for institutional clients crypto services. Coin, which is the ticker symbol for Coinbase, spikes. Coinbase, America's biggest crypto exchange, is partnering with BlackRock, the world's largest asset manager. The deal will provide institutional clients of BlackRock's investment management platform, Aladdin, with access to digital currency. So this is the big thing. This platform, Aladdin. Now, how big of a deal is the Aladdin? We'll talk about that in a second. So the Aladdin investment management platform will be integrated with Coinbase Prime, enabling institutional clients to access its crypto trading, custody, prime brokerage, and reporting capabilities. Fair to say this reporter knows what the hell he's talking about, and this other one's an idiot? Yes, that is true. Just because somebody's hired as a reporter does not mean they know what the F they're talking about. This is giving us actual good information. So always keep in mind that just because you're reading from a reporter, they do not always know. In fact, so often they try to be experts at everything, which means they know nothing about anything. Coinbase announced that Bitcoin would be the first digital asset offered to clients on Aladdin. Notice that, the first. So that's what's being said. What's not being said? More to come, right? A platform that has over 200 institutional investors, including insurers, pensions, corporations, asset managers, banks, and official institutions. Following the announcement, the share price of publicly traded Coinbase Global jumped more than 31% on Thursday, August 4th. Thank goodness we didn't stop at the Bloomberg article, which was boring, did not have very good information, and found this one where this writer knows what the heck they're talking about. Yeah, Anthony Martinez, talk about how they buy entire neighborhoods at 20% over market price, and then they charge outrageous rent with no options to buy. Yes, and they will get punished in the marketplace for that because, they're buying it over market prices. Why? Because they expect appreciation to continue. And look, they can only charge as much rent as the market will bear, and the market is bearing these big rent increases for the time being. But that can continue, right? Because they're building new homes. Only so many people need to rent. And so, like, what goes around comes around. So Zillow was doing something weird that they were buying a whole bunch of homes for overpriced, and now they're taking the shorts because they were overpaying for things. So I'm not worried about what they're doing. Thank you, though, Anthony, for the kind words. Love your show, pal. I much appreciate it. BlackRock Not my favorite institution, but I definitely keep an eye on what they're doing. Why? Because they are the biggest player. And when they do things, it has massive implications. So let's think about a few things. What information is being stated? What things are possibly happening that are not being stated? What's up, Mark Esquivel? Good to see you. Remember, Blackrock itself, and though I don't agree with some of their decisions, fair to say they are very smart and they know what they're doing. BlackRock doesn't play checkers, they're playing chess. So we're seeing this present move, the announcement of a move that's already been made, right? This is just when the announcement came out, and there's much more going on here. And we actually have limited information in these articles, so we have to look deeper. What is being stated in this article? Fair to say in the article, what is being stated is that BlackRock is working with Coinbase. Yeah. And that they have a partnership. And what does this partnership really mean, right? Partnerships can mean almost nothing, like, oh, so-and-so made a partnership with this. But literally that partnership doesn't really cause any direct beneficial stuff for the two projects. It was just the way to do an announcement. That's not what this type of partnership is. This type of partnership is a huge deal. The implication of what are the implications then of this event? Gigantic increases in access for institutions into buying Bitcoin and then other cryptos following this. Here's a little bit of information. In 2021, Aladdin, which is the system that BlackRock uses so that their 200 institutions can then buy bonds and all kinds of things. Aladdin, that system, handled 21.6 trillion worth of assets. In other words, 4% of the world's wealth. All through Aladdin last year. So is this a big deal? This is the biggest deal. People that don't understand the implication of this. This is why I know the news came out a couple days ago. That is absolutely why we had to discuss it today, because I heard some people talking about it. But this is a monumental shift. So let's ask some more deeper questions. What has likely happened leading up to this event, right? So we got the announcement. There's been a lot of decisions and strategic moves made in the past months, even probably the past 6 months or a year leading up to this. What are those? Well, BlackRock is deeply in bed with the decision makers in the Democrat Party in the US and several of the decision makers in the Republican Party. They probably made sure there weren't any regulatory landmines going to blow up their ship with Bitcoin, and notice also other cryptos to come. That's probably why other cryptos to come aren't there. They're a little bit concerned about possibly some regulatory landmines with some of the altcoins maybe, but with Bitcoin, it is full steam ahead. Do you think maybe they called all those politicians on speed dial, making sure that there weren't any landmines in the way before not only announcing this deal, but making this deal? Yes, abso-freaking-lutely. That is the deeper unsaid information here. Perhaps even further unsaid information. BlackRock has already taken positions in Bitcoin leading up to this. Wouldn't that be smart? This big dip that we had before, do you think possibly that they were buying like crazy? Well, that would make sense, because a move like this, if people understand it, is very bullish for Bitcoin. Do they want to take their positions like after that kind of announcement or possibly before? So, a gigantic monumental earthquake has just happened. After BlackRock's announcement, is it fair to say that likely other big names will start jumping on the ship very quickly? Remember, BlackRock isn't just a huge player. It's one of the biggest in the world. Very big deal. What do you all think? Put in the comments what you're thinking about. I want to talk about some other bullish news, and then feel free to hit me up with what's on your mind. I'll have a little bit of time. Today's going to be a little bit shorter, so got a daughter celebrating a birthday, so I'm going to take her, get her some food, and help her get some of her presents, because I don't buy presents directly for my daughters anymore. That usually doesn't go as well for me as if I take them to buy them. All right. Any of you, so other bullish news, did any of you buy UFC Strike or NFL All Day NFTs or NBA Top Shots? Now, in the same article from people who actually know what they're doing with crypto, clearly this writer, whoever it is, I couldn't find who had written it, knows better what they're doing, is right here. Instagram ads flow NFTs and expand support for 100 countries. Wow. Instagram ads flow NFTs. So what are flow NFTs? Well, the very most popular ones are NBA Top Shots, followed by NFL All Day and UFC Strike. So these are some of the largest, hottest sports memorabilia through moments. Like, think of kind of like trading cards, but they're actual video moments in NFT form on the Flow blockchain. And Instagram just added support for them. That's a big deal, because remember, the masses come into crypto when it's easy, right? So did BlackRock just make it easy for institutional investors to have exposure to crypto? They just made it very easy, right? Instagram is making it so people can share their NFT, like what they have. So in other words, they can flex some of the moments that they have, which is especially big for collectible moments. What are NFTs all about, right? In large part, why did Bored Ape Yacht Club go so big? Well, because it became something you could set your Twitter profile pic to so that you could use it as a flex. What is Instagram now allowing, or going to be allowing you to be able to share through Instagram, which is absolutely gigantic these days, share through Instagram some of your social flexes of these Flow blockchain NFTs like NBA Top Shots, NFL All Day, and UFC Strike. This is another earthquake-sized deal that happened, and most aren't yet realizing it because the shockwaves haven't reached them yet. Does this mean the market can't have another spike down? No, it doesn't mean that. I think BlackRock and other huge players would love to find a way to even cause another massive spike down. And they may figure that out because they like buying, like we do. They like buying on clearance. Remember, we're investors here, or another term for investors who try to deal less on emotion and way more on good information are venture capitalists. And if you're an early investor in crypto, you're really a venture capitalist, whether you realize it or not. Very high risk, very high returns in crypto. We get very early access to funding rounds, which can go very, very good or very, very bad. On the stock market or equities, unless you're an accredited investor, you get very delayed access. You get to buy after an initial public offering, and that means you're very late access. So in the crypto space, you're really a venture capitalist, whether you realized it or not, because you have access to very early funding, and you can get those 100x or 200x or 500 or 1000x gains, just like VCs can get access to in equity investments. So we did share last week that the Pi cycle indicator is suggesting we're at or very near the bottom, and this is the best time to be in crypto. Not the most exciting time to be in crypto. Let me share my chart here. The best time to be in crypto. Why do I say that? Well, actually, let me see if I can just share my whole screen. So we're near this bottom, right? And this is right around when the Pi cycle indicator flashed. I don't have that currently pulled up, that signal. But so we're at the bottom or near the bottom, right? So maybe it goes a little bit cheaper. Is it exciting to buy when it gets really cheap? No, it's not exciting to buy really cheap. Actually, a few of you, and I get excited when I'm buying really cheap, and sometimes it goes even cheaper. The real exciting time is these massive rides up, but they're only extremely exciting if you made your positions really low when it's a little bit boring. And it's a little bit boring right now, which it's a very good time to be dollar cost averaging in. At least that's what I've been doing. Now, as an investor, some people have these expectations that they will invest and nothing will go down on them, right? That they'll somehow buy the exact bottom, and that's just a complete unrealistic expectation. Just know that if you're buying at really, really good times, your portfolio could be down 50 or 60 or 70% from all the money that you put in. Why? Because you were buying when everything was extremely boring, and sometimes it gets even slower and the prices reverse even more from where you're buying. That's okay. I don't know about you, but I'm buying for the longer term, because as boring as the crypto market is felt, that means that Google searches for Bitcoin are at all-time lows. That means not a lot of new money coming into the crypto space yet. Well, isn't that when investors buy? When things are slow, so they can take that nice ride up, which is the exciting time, right? The exciting time is when we're going through this very nice ride up, but it's only really exciting when you've already made your entries. All right, let's get over to some comments. Nick, I'm not sure what to think about Blackrock, but it gives at least huge attention again to crypto. It gives gigantic attention to crypto. So if you're any kind of fund manager in the world, this absolutely got your attention. What does that mean? Well, crypto really pumps when more money comes into the space, right? When there's just as many buyers and sellers out there, then the price goes mostly sideways, sometimes a little bit up, sometimes down. Is some people panic sell and some people buy the dips. But when it really goes crazy is when you have more money coming in. What does the deal with BlackRock mean? It means now institutional investors can have exposure to crypto. I mean, trillions of dollars out there can trade on this. What if they put 500 billion into crypto? Now you think, oh, the current market cap of all the cryptocurrency out there is like over $1 trillion. Why would 500 billion make a difference? Oh, 500 billion new money. It wouldn't take the total market cap to like only plus 500 billion. It would double, triple, quadruple, maybe even 5 or 10x current prices as that money came in, trying to get sellers willing to sell. And so I know it seems weird that if 500 billion came in, the total market cap of the crypto would go up a lot more than 500 billion, but that's exactly what happens, because the current market cap is just actually a summary of what the current prices are at. But at the current prices, if everyone's expecting prices to go up, then nobody is willing to sell, and buyers have to pay higher and higher prices to get to actually be able to buy anything, and the prices can escalate very, very quickly, even if not all that much money changes hands. So 500 billion coming into the space could literally take the total crypto market to 6 trillion, 10 trillion, maybe even 15 trillion, depending on how bullish everyone got. All right. N. Smith says, agree, Nick. Can't be bad for exposure. Any thoughts on XRP right now? Let's take a look over at XRP. Great question. Look, I don't hold any XRP presently. I have to say, I'm really happy with their leadership in taking on the SEC. They really took that for everyone, and I think they should always be commended as cryptocurrency pioneers. They could have just settled with them and moved on, and their token price would be a lot higher. The reason I'm not in it has to do with their market cap. It has everything to do with their market cap. XRP. Okay, so their current market cap is 17 billion. The only thing that has a market cap near this high that I'm in is Cardano, and obviously Bitcoin and Ethereum, which I have very small amounts in. I'm usually in much riskier stuff. I do have still some Cardano, which has a higher market cap. So I'm not in a lot of XRP, because where could it go? Well, maybe it goes back to its previous highs of what, $3.26 or whatever it is, $3.43 at the top. And that's about a 10x gain from here, which is pretty good. I'm in things that if the market goes that well, they'll do a lot better than that. So I really commend XRP for what they've done. And I don't have anything against it other than I'm positioned in higher risk stuff, most all of my portfolio, that if I'm right about the coming months being really bullish, my portfolio will do a lot more than a 10x. And Smith, I sold all my XRP in bull run months ago, so I'm not updated about the trial. Okay, cheers, bud. I have zero interest in Bitcoin. I have no interest in pumping Wall Street investor bags like Michael Saylor. Can't stand his personality. I'm only interested in alts. I'm there with you. I keep track of what's going on with Bitcoin because that's a large driver of new money into the space. So there's only a few altcoins that ever drive new money directly. What usually happens is people come in, kind of the gateway is Bitcoin, and then sometimes they move over to ETH, and then they move into blue chips, and then they move that money. A lot of it ends up funneling into mid and lower tier altcoins, and it doesn't take all that much money coming into some of the lower cap altcoins for those to go huge. Shahid, hello. Hey, thanks for joining us. These kinds of moves by Blackrock can provide the type of volume we need to give rise to exponential rise in prices. This is the next step. Absolutely, Zach. Well said. Wait till XRP is the bridge for all the assets in the world replacing Swift. What kind of market cap will it have then? If that comes together like that, and there are, see, they do have some good connections. Unfortunately, not good enough connections. The SEC decided to try to make an example out of them. They do have some good politician connections and political connections. I hope it's big enough because Swift is an outdated system that's very expensive to send funds. So if you want to move 20 million from, say, the Europe to the US or the US to Europe, you're going to pay a lot in transaction fees. It might take 2 weeks for that all to happen, where with crypto can allow that transaction to happen very quickly. It can actually check. They can have a system that checks for anti-money laundering stuff, and all that can still be settled in the matter of seconds rather than weeks. And so it's a much more efficient system than Swift. And XRP has been working on that. They have a lot more competition for that space than they did. And so that's why XRP, they were positioned there early, way ahead of all the competition. Since then, we have like the Lightning Network for Bitcoin, giving them some indirect competition, and other competitors giving them some competition. But if they end up replacing Swift, their market cap will go bananas. So maybe it does a lot more than 10x if that happens. And they could be, in the top 3 altcoins, maybe even rivaling ETH's market cap if that happens. I don't know enough about the day-to-day to know how solidly that would happen. And one of my concerns with XRP is they made it so that you can send funds using their system without using XRP. And for compliance reasons, they did that because some countries, some institutions will not hold altcoins on their books at all. And so I think they had to do that, but it decouples a little bit the use case of XRP. To what extent you use XRP or don't use XRP for their systems, I don't know what percentage of their transactions are using XRP, what percentage aren't using it. And so that was one of my concerns when that became relevant. And I sold off my XRP position around 50 cents a while back. Great comments by Zach, though. N. Smith says, thanks. Zach says, JP Morgan is behind ETH, who was in bed with the SEC. There is a lot of data to suggest that that might be the case. JP Morgan is competing with Ripple. Yep. There are a lot of well-connected people with ETH that it seems like there's some evidence that may have been a targeted hit job. How companies sometimes use politicians or the regulatory framework to do some dirty work for them in taking out their competition, which doesn't just happen in the U.S. It happens in countries all over the world. The U.S. is sometimes more transparent about it, where you can actually find out more about it. Great comments by Zach. BlackRock behind 3 arrows in Luna liquidations and now are back for more. I wonder what part they had to play in that. If they did, I think 3 arrows was trading on leverage and just big positions. And a number of things went bad for them as the market crashed. And maybe it was strategic to crash the market, because when do big institutions like BlackRock, maybe they were behind helping these things crash so it could drive prices down as much as possible so that they could take large positions. And then later we have this announcement. Oh my gosh. But they wait on the announcements usually till their positions are secured, because they don't want to give such positive news before they've taken large positions out, right? All right, you and I don't have enough power to move the market that way, but when you have enough funds that you do, that's what they think about, right? All right, let's do a one-chain giveaway. Now, Chainalysis recently posted, here's the question, and the first person that I get in the comments section that I see, because about these giveaways, sometimes when you post it in there, it'll instantly post your message before you get the other ones in. So we have to go with the ones that hit my screen first as being the first. So here's the question, and I'll be giving away, actually, I think 250 won today. So there was no giveaway last week. So we'll be doing it this week. 250 won to our winner. Chainalysis says that cross-chain bridge hacks top how much now? So you'll have to look for an article on Chainalysis that the total amount in cross-chain bridge hacks totals what amount now? First person to answer that is our winner. Why is that relevant? Well, on-chain uses a trustless system where bad actors lose more than they could gain, which underscores why on-chain has worked so tirelessly on some of the best cross-chain bridge technology in the world, with a trustless bridge system that hugely reduces the risk companies take using on-chain's tech. So if you've been wondering actually what on-chain is up to, it's paving the way for DeFi in ways that will make it seamless, and you don't even realize the technology is being used. Let me see if I have that article queued up. I do while I'm looking. All right, we got the answer, and the first answer came through by Brian Miller. Brian, congratulations, Brian. I need your Telegram handle, because if you just try to give me your on-chain address in the comment section, it's not going to work. It's going to screen it out. And so I need your Telegram handle, and I will PM you. It is $2 billion so far. The Axie Infinity bridge hack was in the hundreds of millions. There have been some other really big bridge hacks. The total now is $2 billion. They estimate that North Korea is responsible for at least $1 billion of it. They have some bad actors there. All right, let me share my screen. So Impel adds, now this is a little bit of a technical article, and so bear with me here. Impel adds Bitcoin to ISO 2022 financial messaging on XDC network. ISO 222. Okay. New cross-chain interoperability via one bridge provides more robust options for instant settlement. Impel is pleased to announce today that Bitcoin has been added to its ISO 222 financial messaging API as optional collateral for making payments. This enables Bitcoin to be used in the instant settlement process for traditional banking services and other organizations that utilize the ISO 222 messaging standard. It offers the opportunity for improved customer experience, increased security, and significant operating cost savings. The technology industry's future lies in the broad range of techniques that allow different blockchains to communicate with each other. The transfer of digital assets and data between one blockchain to another is referred to as cross-chain compatibility. Interoperable bridges play a crucial role. Through its collaboration with Demo and OneChain, Impel's user base can move Bitcoin from its native network to the XDC network as a wrapped digital asset called an XBTC, referred to as an XRC20 token. Both Demo and OneChain aim to make the blockchain ecosystem completely interoperable, one bridge at a time. We see this bridge between Bitcoin and XDC network as an important step in creating real-world interoperability in the blockchain ecosystem. Interesting article. I know I get somewhat technical there, but in other words, we hit mass adoption when people are able to use cryptocurrency, transfer between chains, and it's so seamless they don't even understand what's happening, and in a secure, protected way. And so OneChain has some of the best technology in this, and you're seeing some of the stuff behind the scenes. We had Dr. Ouija join us from OneChain like 2 months ago. Very sharp guy, one of the brightest minds in security and cross-chain bridge technology. Fascinating interview. So you can see why I'm so bullish on OneChain. All right, let me see. Did I get Brian? Brian, okay, good. I got you, Brian. All right, it won't let me copy that, but let me just hit you up real quick so you'll know it's me. It beat fast yet, and I will have to get it to you after the show. Okay, I just sent you a message. Hey, this is Rain. Just confirm that that's you, so I make sure. Yeah, and then I'll get your OneChain address, and congratulations for that. So what's your thoughts on these big announcements? Are you a lot more bullish in the future months now that you've seen what Blackrock just announced? Also, have you picked up any of the NFL All Day or the NBA Top Shots? Now, NBA Top Shots are already, I think, concluding their second season. They're in season 3. I only collected season 1 with NFL All Day. I bought a bunch, and then UFC Strike I bought a bunch because season 1 usually tends to be the best appreciating, and so usually they don't have a huge amount of user base or collector base yet in the early series, and so every year they start making more and more editions, which creates a lack of scarcity problem down the road. So NBA Top Shots, I put about $1,100 in March of last year when it peaked out. The value of that went to like $185,000. It's currently sitting, last I checked, around $30,000. So it's only 25x from what I put in, which is not near as fun as like 170x from what you put in. But pullbacks are real, even in the collectible space. But do you feel that this is a big deal? Because I do. And Instagram is pretty big. Some of the newer things would be really interesting if they could integrate it with Snapchat. I don't know how they could do that, but we'll see. Like Instagram's bigger actually than Facebook, and it's where a lot of the youth go. So I'm excited with what's happening there for NFTs. Really, as you're able to flex these moments, I think they could do really well. All right. Brian Miller says, long-term, even if I don't believe in the tech, I believe in greed. This market went from under 1 trillion to over 3. They'll want to do that again. Absolutely. What do people think the next bull run overall market cap will be? How many trillion? Yeah, my guess is breaking 10 trillion at least, with some things going 100x and some things only going up 50%. So I'm trying to position in things that can experience between 10 to 100x or more if I'm right on this. Wish they didn't go with Flow, but still big news. Who would you like to see? I mean, Flow is well positioned for it, right? So that people can show their, it's got the NBA, the NFL, as well as UFC Strike. What they're missing, though, is international football, right? What in the U.S. calls soccer, but football. Which is on, what's it called? Chili's. It has a lot of it. We'll be happier when the SEC give up on trying to kill crypto. Yeah, we'll see what happens with a political shift in upcoming elections in the U.S. this November, I believe. And if that changes the Senate and the U.S. Congress, and if they then start changing some regulations, because they could actually just take away the power, Congress could take away power from the SEC completely if they wanted. Unless they had a veto-proof majority, though, they would have to get Joe Biden on board. Okay, Pete D says at least 10 million for the total market cap. Heard something with Flow and credit cards too. Yeah, so Flow is becoming a big deal, and they have some of the top sports licenses in the world, and that's a really big deal. It's going to make it easy for things to happen. I haven't heard specifically about Flow and credit cards. So you can add money to the Flow blockchain through using your credit card, and you've been able to for a while. I also like that you can they use the Coinbase wallet, which allows you essentially to get an ETH address and send USDC or USDT or even ETH over, which then gets converted into a dollar amount, which then you can use to buy on your Dapper Labs account, which is what's connected to NBA Top Shots and NFL All Day and stuff. So for those of you who haven't seen it, let me show you NFL All Day. Give me just a second. We'll log in. I have a boatload of these moments. So, going through, I don't think the sorting filter is very good. Okay. Let's see if it wants to let me get in. Okay. Share my screen here. NFL All Day is essentially this. So you can go to the marketplace, you can buy these moments. And so this is the US football version of it. NBA Top Shots, and each of the sites are actually quite a bit different. NBA Top Shots and then UFC Strike. They all work with a Dapper Labs account. But so here's the marketplace. And I don't know why that's high. Some of these, I guess they changed the highlighting, so some are different. So this is the first season that is out there. It gives you a little idea of, okay, this Derek Gore, this is his rookie mint. Marks all the moments minted for a player during the rookie year. This is rookie year as well, and this is his NFL all-day debut. So it's got triple badges on it. A lot of them you'll see, because this is Series 1, you'll see the all-day debut, but a few of them won't have their all-day debut, and what that means is that there's another moment out there on it that did get the debut badge, because only one time ever will they get the NFL all-day debut, meaning it's their first moment on the blockchain, or the NFL all-day blockchain, so which is really the Flow blockchain. Aaron Rodgers here. Aaron Rodgers, big player. Interesting. So you can search by name. Let's go to filters. Aaron Rodgers. Let's see what comes up. So they're going to say this one is his NFL all-day debut, which is a legendary, which there's only 39 of them. And then they have this legendary that there's 59 of, but it's not his NFL all-day debut. And then they have this one that is a rare, and $350. So I think he's retired now, right? I think he is, and that's just kind of like a flashback moment one, which, they've been doing some of those flashback moments. All right, any other questions you guys have? Let me check. NFL season coming up soon too. So you think that will increase prices? That's a great question. What will really increase prices is what happened with NBA Top Shots was that, number one, we had a big crypto pump. And so everything was kind of pumping in the crypto space. The NBA players themselves were getting way excited about it, and they were talking about it with their whole fan base. So it went a little bit crazy there. That's why like $1,100 went like to $185,000 ever so shortly. It reversed quite a bit, but that kind of appreciation, right, doesn't last for very long. And that doesn't mean they won't have bigger upside. And so I didn't sell any of those moments because I do believe the long-term upside would be bigger. But series number 1 of NBA has come and gone. And I bought a few series 2. I mostly like season or series 1. That's why I'm collecting NFL all day, even though I really don't know all that much about US football. And I'm collecting the UFC strike. Like there's a Conor McGregor. Makes sense, right? There's only a few names I recognize because I don't watch UFC all that much, every once in a while. And so some of the big players there will do good. As far as your question, will it pump the prices? Because I think there's some correlation between the new season coming out and the previous ones doing even better. But I collected actual cards like 25 years ago. Long time between then and now, so I can't say I know that for sure. Halftime USAA says Rodgers is still playing. Good to know. I did not know that. I was thinking he had retired or something. Sorry, thought you meant ticket prices, not NFTs. Oh, in the future, I expect prices to rise everywhere. Do you like Algorand and Chainlink? Well, I really so I'm very price driven, right? So what I like about Chainlink right now is where the prices are at. They're amazing. So yes, I like it. Fantastic business. Price oracles, they're the biggest in that, and they've gone through this massive pullback. And so yeah, I think if you're in for something that has a market cap of 3.5 billion, you want some blue chips. If I were adding blue chips to my portfolio, absolutely Chainlink would be in there. Personally, I can't tell you what to do. You get to make that decision. Half of their total supply is in circulation, or almost half. And so see here, I like it. I like it a lot. The other one is Algorand. I like Algorand. I don't like there's only one thing I don't like about Algorand, and it's when I love it at this price though. Like it makes sense at this price. But as it takes off, then they release a lot of treasury funds. As it takes off, they say to stabilize the price. So they have a lot of Algorand in treasury funds. So as the price takes off, they release it. What are they doing? Well, essentially, they're selling it at highs to stabilize the price, which is a fancy way of saying they're taking profits. And so that's my only concern. Can it do a lot better than here? Yes, and I think it probably will do a lot better from these lows at 34, 33 cents. Would I rather hold 20K Zilliqa or 15K bump? You mean 20K worth of Zilliqa and 15K worth of bump? Or is where the price at the same between those right now? Where's Zilliqa's price? I know where bump's price is. Okay, so Zilliqa is actually a little bit cheaper than bump right now. So that's probably where your numbers came in from. Personally, bump. I don't hold any Zilliqa right now. I hold a lot of bumper token. And so that's would be my preference on what I'm doing. Have I looked at Jasmy recently? Asked Nick. Jasmy. I have not. I think I did buy some Jasmy, but I haven't looked at it in a while. Wow. Well, this price has been savaged, like everything else. And it's down. Wow. It was as high as five, it says 429 here, so maybe only $4.30. It's a fraction of a cent. Now, I don't remember enough about this to say whether I would add to my position or not. Just because something is on a huge retracement, if I don't like the fundamentals of it, I'm not going to buy it, even though it's way, way cheap compared to what it was. And it's way, way, way cheap compared to what it was. I just don't know enough fundamentally. Flip, I love Bumper. Me too. You know, it's an if, right? If it comes together, and I think that they will, and if so, this one could do tremendous, tremendous things. So coin market cap is apparently not going to be our friend. So we're going to go to CoinGecko, which will give us better information on Bumper. And when it first launched, there were some hiccups that happened. And so the price somewhat dumped, and then some other things. But really, they're rolling out their alpha and they're in their beta. Check the interviews out with the Bumper team, with the CEO, Jonathan Descartes, and see what it's all about. Because if it works out what they're doing, nobody else is doing this. And if it works out what they're doing, this could change decentralized finance completely. So I'm a huge fan. Thank you, Halftime USA. I will tell her thank you for the happy birthday wishes to my daughter. Nick Scott says, oh, it's the Sony guys behind Jasmy. Gosh, I know. I look at so many different projects. Sometimes they somewhat blend together, so I don't remember the details on it. Flip says, yeah, exactly. Well, thanks everyone for joining us today. Like, the market's been down. It wears you out after a while, doesn't it? And I know it can get way frustrating when the market is down. It just gets somewhat depressing, right? Just know that smart decisions made during this time when prices are at crazy lows, and they are and have been, they lead to life-changing results for those who have patience and some tenacity to hold in there. And there's some signs that this turnaround will be sooner rather than later, but we don't know that for certain. As investors, we don't have magic crystal balls to see in the future. We're just playing the probabilities. And the probability is that if you're buying at relatively very cheap prices and you hold on for longer terms and you're buying projects with strong fundamentals, the odds are way in your favor. And that's why I like crypto investing. And I don't like gambling, because I like situations where the odds are way in my favor. It's not a guarantee. It's just the odds are in your favor. Even the house doesn't always win, even though the odds are in their favor. So in this situation, you can put the odds in your favor by looking at general timing, doing a lot of fundamental analysis. You can swing the odds greatly to your favor. Remember too, guys, thanks for joining us. Remember, no rain, no gain. I've got our video. This is a rap that Charlie out of the UK recorded. I wrote the words, just reinforcing the principles that we talk about on this channel every day. All right, enjoy.
Came into the space chasing all of the gains, chasing the pumps and all of the hype trains. But like in life, shit bad before you could. Was told to buy when it was pouring like a rainmaker should. I buy when it's down, don't chase the boats that I miss. Cause I always make the time in mind. I stick the one out cause I'm patient like that. And I'll wait for the right time. I'll sell when it's high, I buy when it's low. They call me rich, they call me smart. I'm just a rainmaker running the show. Calculated investments, I don't leave with my heart. The principles are simple, they're leaving a mark. Buy when it's boring, just gotta be smart. I sell when it's hype, like all the channels they pump it. That's when I was selling, go parabolic and dump it. They call me rich, they call me smart. I'm a rainmaker, making my own start. I'm with the future, learning the past. Makes the time fly by, years going so fast. The game plan is mine, I'll own it now. When I reach the top, haters asking me how. Cause I'm a rainmaker, investments I love. And I follow what I learn, not relying on luck. Time is never better, the time like the present. This next 5 years is a gift and it's feeling like heaven. I'm committed to learn, studying to know that nothing comes easy, but with knowledge the game show. Sticking out this road, cause soon will come a bear market. Learning and growing, and when it's slow will be the target. They say it's come out, Bitcoin is dead. The massive decreases can get to your head. Sticking around, the time is better. Strong like that, I'll let the others be fretters. 2 years time, the ball will bring back the gains. That makes it worth the effort, cause here comes the rain. So let's go rainmakers, let's make it all happen. Let go of the hate, say the haters be crapping. I'm here for 5 years, let's do this together. The time is right, the time to be better. call me rich, they call me smart. I'm a rainmaker, making my own start. I'm with the future, learning the past, making time fly by, years going so fast. The game plan is mine, I'll own it now. When I reach the top, haters asking me how. Cause I'm a rainmaker, investments I love, and I follow what I learn, not relying on luck. Haters be hating, the time to slow down, addressing what they say when I'm wearing my crown. They're chasing green candles like someone who was new. I got a vision that was bigger, helping me to push through. I'm still human and sometimes it is rough, and that's what makes me special, simply I stay tough. Cause I'm a rainmaker, investments I love, and I follow what I learn, not relying on luck.